but also we like to get a little bit away from the raptor paddock while they're trying to get Blue away. Blue is her big sister, and if she can still smell or hear her, she doesn't settle down. Gentle, baby, gentle. You're okay, sweet girl. Now, if anybody wants, great place to start, let her smell your hand. Do you want to let her, and feel free, you guys can come forward at your leisure. We just want to be careful that she doesn't get scared. Gentle, baby girl. Good girl. And you know what? Her favorite is right under her chin.
This is a robot.
Gentle. So she's what we call a clone. So she is an animal that was grown in a laboratory setting because in the wild, her species is extinct. So what we did is we actually took some DNA that we were able to find. We call it sourcing, which is really just a fancy term for being like, we have paleontologists looking into fossils, and they were like, oh cool, we got some DNA. And then they gave it to some geneticists, and they were able to clone it, which is like copying it so that we can grow a new animal from that same DNA. Gentle, baby girl. Gentle, baby. Good girl.
I want one for a pet.
What's that?
I want one for a pet.
You wanted a pet? Or you want one as a pet? Did you see the one that was over there? That's a 3-year-old. That's how big they get when they're 3.
I want one for a baby. How old is she?
She's only 6 months, so she's not even 1 year old yet. She's 0.5. Yeah, they eat about 20% of their body weight every single day while they're growing. So that's until the age of 3 years old.
What do they eat?
So they're what we call obligate carnivores. Do you know what carnivores have to eat? They mostly eat meat, and an obligate carnivore pretty much can only eat meat. So when we say carnivore, we mean like they have to have some. Obligate carnivores, mostly it's just meat. And for her, it is just meat. She can't really eat anything else. Obviously, she can drink water. Now, 20% of her body weight every day. Today, that's not so much. She's about 22 pounds. She's going to be going through anywhere between 4 to 6 pounds of food today, right? But her sister, who is now fully grown, she's starting to slow down what she's eating. But from the ages of 2 to 3, they're going to be like 6, 7, 800 pounds, which means that 20% of that, they're going to be eating like 100 or 200 pounds of meat every day. Yeah, which is why you really want to make sure that your Velociraptor gets fed on time. Because if she gets too hungry, I will remind you, this is what 100 to 200 pounds of meat looks like. Yeah. If she gets too hungry, she's going to stop calling me Dr. Clark, and she's going to start calling me Friday. Yeah, and I don't want that. Now, our Velociraptors, they are highly intelligent animals. They're socially oriented, like dogs or lions. So we actually have some amount of communication that we can give them. Gentle, baby girl. I know. Good girl, baby. Now, what's that? Why do I have a glove on? So at the end of her hands and her feet, she has what we call talons, right? Well, we could call them claws. On Homo sapiens, that's us. We just call them fingernails and toenails, right? And it's actually made out of the same stuff. But because hers are shaped differently, they're a little stronger, and more importantly, they're a little sharper. So she holds me too tightly or tries to climb up. It can scratch my skin, and we want to be careful. This is actually what we call a falconer's glove or a hawker's glove. It's the same kind of glove that we use when we're holding an owl or a hawk or a falcon, any kind of bird, which actually brings us to a really interesting point. Birds are dinosaurs. Right, full stop. Birds are dinosaurs, right? And they're in the same family of dinosaur as Velociraptor. We call that family Theropoda. Yeah, you know? And there are dinosaurs that are omnivores just like we are. Because like one of the great things that makes us such an adaptable species is the fact that we could eat meat or we could eat plants. So when we were kind of roaming around the earth, starting to find new places to live, if there weren't enough animals to eat, we could eat plants. And then if we got to a place and there weren't enough plants for us to eat, we could eat animals, right? That's one of the hypotheses of why Neanderthals aren't here anymore, because they had to have more meat than we did. So when meat was a little scarce, they couldn't switch to potatoes. Now for her here, she's more like that. She's an obligate carnivore. The only thing that she can eat is meat.
Why do you have the little thing?
Why do I have this clicker? So this is actually, we call it a clicker. Spoiler alert. Now this is the same kind of training tool that we use for dogs now. As an animal behaviorist, I'll let you guys know, we only use positive reinforcement training for our animals here. Negative reinforcement training really does not work. And exactly right. And they're not going to understand like, oh, I didn't sit when you said sit and then you got upset with me about it. They're not going to put those two things together. What they will put together is you asked me to sit, I sat down, and then you gave me a treat. And that made me feel good, right? So what we do is we start there, is we give them a command word that we're trying to teach them. When they do a good job, we give them a treat, and then also, gentle, good girl. I give a little click there, and then we start to take away the treats, and we just use the clicker. That way she knows that she did something good, and it's easy for me because I don't even have to be talking when I do it. Good girl. And she knows, oh, cool. That was a good little positive reinforcement. I'm doing a good job. And then I always don't have to be feeding her treats, right?
What do you give them for treats?
Her favorite treat right now, I think, is frozen mice. Now, I'm a vegetarian myself, so I choose to only eat plants. So I have not tried them myself. But when she eats them, they sound really crunchy. And I love potato chips. So maybe that's like the Velociraptor kind of potato chip. She also likes a little bit of guinea pig. Her sister India is more kind of wild about the guinea pig. The frozen mice, though, is also the only food that she eats whole. Right now, most of what she's eating is ground chicken and turkey. As she gets older, we'll be introducing things like lamb and goat and cow meat, but that's still a little ways off. For those of you who are just arriving, this is Sierra. Sierra is a 6-month-old Velociraptor. Good girl. And we are also going to be bringing out her big sister over there at the Raptor Encounter all day. Question, comment, sir?
Which one is that?
This is Sierra.
Sierra.
Yeah,
You guys have battle.
we are going to be bringing out her big sister Blue over at the Raptor Encounter over there, usually about every half hour.
Come on.
Gentle baby, good girl. Oh, bye guys, happy birthdays! Thank you so much. And if anybody wants to get closer, let her smell your hand. That's up to you, of course. She won't bite. She's really sweet. Gentle baby. Can she smell you first? Gentle baby. And hold your hand out like this. Gentle baby. Good girl. So I always like to point out interesting animal behaviors. And one of the really, really interesting things we see here pretty consistently, we're seeing it right now, we call it the adult Homo sapien survival instinct. Kids, this is how you become an adult, okay? Look around. You see the adults keeping a nice safe distance away, sending the children in first to see if anything goes wrong.
Yes.
Now adults, now that you see that we've got some brave kids up here showing you that she is very safe to be around, adults, if you want to get close, that's okay too. Gentle.
Should I get close?
Good girl. Gentle, bye-bye. Easy. Good girl. Now getting your smell, for her, that's like her version of learning your name almost, right? Because your smell, for her nose, which is hundreds of times more sensitive than ours, she's actually able to tell the difference between individuals, even in a crowd, or she'll be able to smell you up to 1 mile away. Sometimes even more depending on how the wind is blowing. Yeah.
Do they get like scared at all, like when they're crowded?
Do they get scared at all when they're crowded? Yes, that is one of the things that I'm here to look out for, is because I'm bringing her out for a really important reason. We have to show her that human beings are safe, right? I can't explain to her that you're safe to be around because she's 6 months old. She won't understand. Also,
What's the oldest
obviously
raptor
she's a
you guys have?
Velociraptor, so we have a little language barrier as well. What was that?
What's the oldest one you guys have?
The oldest Velociraptor, we have 4 that are a little over 3 years old now. That'll be Blue, Delta, Echo, and Charlie.